Here we have a half a circle, and inside of this half a circle we have four isosceles triangles. The triangles outside are congruent, triangles inside are also congruent to each other, and the angles at the base of each of those four isosceles triangles are congruent to each other. And we are asked to find the measure of those angles. Let's denote some points here. Points O, A, B, C, D. Point O is the center of the circle. And the next thing we're going to do, we're going to connect the point O with the point C. Kind of natural things to do to start connecting disconnected points. And now if you look carefully, what we find is this green triangle, OAB, is going to be congruent to this blue triangle, OCD. Why are they congruent? They're congruent by two sides and the angle between them. The sides are their legs, radii, the side OC, OD, OA, and AB. And the angle between them are also congruent because the angles at the base of isosceles triangles are congruent. So this angle and this angle are congruent to this angle. It's also going to be congruent to this angle. And therefore, the angle right here and here are going to be congruent as well, if you expect all three angles to give 180 degrees. But if two triangles are congruent to each other, it means the sides are congruent. You know, two sides of each triangle, we know they're congruent, they're radii, but now I'm talking about the third side. Side OB should be congruent to side CD. But side CD is also congruent to side BC because we have an isosceles triangle right here. So we have three congruent sides, OB, BC, and CD. But now let's look at this gray triangle right here. It's an isosceles triangle for what we just saw. And since it's an isosceles triangle, angles at the base, this angle here and the angle here should be congruent to each other. But now let's look at this angle, CBD. This angle is actually exterior angle to our triangle. And this angle has to be equal to the sum of this angle and this angle. And that really means that those two angles, angle here and angle here, are half of this big angle. If we call this big angle as x, it means that these two guys are going to be x over 2. But now let's go back and notice that this angle right here, x over 2, is congruent to this angle, x over 2. Okay, we just discussed that this triangle OAB is congruent triangle COD. So all angles should be congruent. So this angle is congruent to this angle. And now notice that this angle, which is x over 2, plus this angle, which is x, plus this angle, which is x, together should give us 180 degrees because they are angles of a triangle OAB. And from here we can easily find x, which will be 72 degrees. And that's it. The problem is solved.